so in this tutorial, what I want to do is I want to create another kicker light, meaning a kicker. How we made this one over here for on this side, so that I'll get a little light kick here, here, and here, meaning like here, here, and here. Basically on the opposite side, I want another kick of reflections to boost our image for our stripe blocks, our black stripe blocks, okay? Alright, so first thing, here's our image. I want to save it, and just to review, I'm going to pull up my render globals or render global settings, render settings, camera alias at 3, ray depth bounces at 2. Remember how I talked about that? Have it saved. I'm gonna turn off the interactive render. I'm just gonna squeeze this in. Now I'm gonna make another area light, another Arnold lights area light. Here you go. Okay, I'm gonna hit the R as in Robert. I'm gonna stretch it like about yay high, you know, maybe around here. It's not an exact science, you just kind of guesstimate, you know, maybe about this big, it should be good enough. Remember, the smaller your area light is, the hotter your reflection is gonna be, your reflective kick is gonna be. And the bigger and wider your area light is, the more diffused your reflections is gonna be. Okay, always remember that. So anyway, I did that. I'm gonna rotate it like so. Also make sure our line is angling towards there. I'm just kind of assuming where the light beam is gonna hit. Maybe like that. You know, it doesn't hurt to rotate it down, get more of an aggressive light. If you could imagine the light blasting it on our object. Okay, maybe this should be okay. Now let's go back to our editor. Again, that's over here, this tab right here, attribute editor. Intensity, let's set it to 100, like how we discussed before. Our exposure is not going to be 1, you know, but it has to be something like 5, which I explained before. Cast shadows is on. Don't touch anything else. Don't mess with anything else. Okay. Now, here's our previous render. I'm gonna hit render, update full scene, or Control U. Control U or Command U for Max. And as you can already tell, here we have more of a glint over here, highlights on the edges, which is exactly what I wanted. So here's my before, here's my after. Okay, and it also gave a little extra light kick to our text. If you notice, before it's a little bit dark, after much brighter. But I want to practice our exercise. Oh wait, first I want to save this. Okay, so before, after. I like my kick over here that I got. Next thing I want to do is I want to practice our exercise of having light linking again. Alright, so let's go to lighting, shading, I believe. If you don't see this, you have to be under rendering tab. Okay, lighting, shading. Again, light linking editor, light centric. Click on that. Alright, so the one we selected was area light 6. I'm gonna again go select area light 6. Okay, what you select here doesn't correspond to what you select here. You know, you have to manually select it in here. Okay, now this is our light source. I selected light 6. Here's the illuminated objects that's illuminating. I wanted to not illuminate my Adidas text. So right now it has everything illuminated, even this dull blue grayish color being highlighted, that means it's still illuminated. I'm gonna control or command left click onto the Adidas group, which is our text. That means is that it's not going to illuminate it. So if you watch carefully, I'm going to go command U or control U for a Mac PC. Now if you notice, our text is not illuminated. See, before illuminated with the kick highlights, and when I let go, still has the kick highlights but not illuminated. So let me save it. So here's our very first, second with the kick, and third with the kick but without illuminating the text. The reason I did that was, let me close this out. Again, to practice light linking, also to go back and grab this main light that's illuminating broadly in front panel like this, frontal. What I'm gonna do is let me turn on interactive rendering. Let's increase the exposure instead of 1 like that we did for every other. Let's go to 1.5. Let's see what happens. And we got a nice broad illumination. So before, after, and as a extra bonus, we got more of a gradient high reflection going on here. See, before it was barely noticeable, but now, boom, we have more of a glossy, diffused reflection. And we have highlighted our text as well. See? Wait. Before, after. Okay, so this was before, and if I hit the right arrow on my keyboard, after. Before, after. Again, before, after. Let me zoom in, mouse scroll. Before, barely noticeable, but you do notice how the text is brighter. You know, maybe incrementally lighter, like not even 10% lighter, but it's just enough that's not blown out. And our bottom reflections are brighter too. See? Okay, now it's still kind of grainy, so just for viewing purposes, let's go back to our render globals right here, render settings, that guy right there. And let's crank our camera anti-alias samples. Let's crank it to 10. Okay, just to see how it looks like in the final render state. Alright, it's almost done. Looks very nice. A bit slow, but whatever. So like I mentioned before, when we crank the anti-alias, you know, it does get cleaner, but the render times increases exponentially. Alright, so that took 44 seconds, okay? Whereas before it was 4 seconds, now it's 44. But during your final renders, when you're ready to animate your animation, you're gonna want it similarly to this condition, okay? So this is very nice. Even the bottom reflections are pretty decent. So before, after, much cleaner. Well worth it. So much nice. So here what we had before, okay, and after. Big difference. You will have a lot of fun lighting your scene. Alright, so that's the end of this tutorial. Next tutorial we'll be going over, we're gonna group our lights to our hero asset, our main asset. We're gonna group it to it. So if and when we were to go and animate our asset, we call it our hero asset, it will follow it. So it'll be pretty neat. Alright, so that's the end of this tutorial.